Help me grow, fast or slow, as long as I know you're digging for gold. Help me learn, soft or stern, as long as I know you're digging for gold. Life's a movie, the ultimate trip. You should have been told you'd be digging for gold. Welcome, my friends, to another episode of Digging for Gold. As you know, hopefully you know, I'm Dan Goldberg. Please don't forget to subscribe on YouTube, on Spotify, on Instagram, on TikTok, and all the other social media platforms that we're on. The easiest way to do it is to go to dangoldberg.com, go to the bottom, look at all the icons, and click on it. This is episode 36, and you're going to be really fascinated what Lee-Agawa has to say about men's and women's health, because he's the co-founder and he's the business manager, I would say, of Grace and Glow MD in Springhouse, Pennsylvania, and that's in the Philadelphia area. So if you're listening from somewhere else, you should know that. How are you, Taka?
Doing fantastic. Thank you for having me here.
Thank you for being here. So before we started recording, we were talking about some fascinating things. But let's go into how your whole business started.
Sure.
Okay. Your wife is an MD. She's an OB/GYN.
That's correct.
Right? Melissa, right?
Right.
Melissa Lee-Agawa. Okay. And I know the building you guys are in.
Okay.
There's a great yoga studio in there. What was the transition from being a regular OB/GYN to doing what you do now? And tell us what it is that you do now.
Sure. So my wife was a OB/GYN at Holy Redeemer, and I think she was in it always for the love of helping people. And the reality is, and I think we see this across so many different medical fields, there's a lot of physician burnout.
Yep.
And, a lot of it is because, insurances force visits to be done in 15 minutes. And the running joke is they're expected to do 6 visits, 15 minutes every hour. Wow. And the math doesn't math there, right?
Right.
And it's just not possible. And then they double book and triple book that too.
Yeah.
So there was just a lot of burnout. And I think she was looking for an outlet that was creative, that was fun, and just something more simple. And so we started looking into aesthetics. And at first it was just, looking into skincare, looking at what Botox and filler can do, and finding that there's real benefit to it. And it's just not a vanity play. We talked about discrimination based on age. In this day of technology, a lot of people face that. Yeah. So, we found that confidence is something that women need and look for. So,
like anybody needs.
Yeah. So we started looking into aesthetics, and we started there, and the evolution from there was fantastic, because we went from building confidence on the surface to helping women with true intimate problems that even physicians might not have the solutions for. And this is coming from an OB/GYN that was in the field for close to 12 years, not knowing that there were simple technologies to cure things like urinary incontinence or discomfort during sex. And when we found those technologies, and they're the same technologies that people use on their face. Kim Kardashian made it famous back in the day with the Morpheus 8, which is radio frequency with microneedling for the face. There's a way that the Kardashians all stay young and beautiful.
Right.
And what we found is that those same technologies can be used inside the woman's body to help them rediscover their glow.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So can you give us some examples?
Sure. So urinary incontinence, I think, is one of the major issues that we are so proud to be able to treat. The statistic is that 70% of women at some point in their life deal with urinary incontinence, meaning that they pee themselves, whether it be when they sneeze, laugh, jump, and there's if you talk to older women, they'll tell you that when they go into a new building, they will scout out where the bathroom is because they need to make sure that they can make it there.
Sure.
And most of the time you go to a physician and talk to them about this, or you talk to your parents, your mother about this, they're going to say the same thing that's been said for the last 30 years. Go do some Kegel exercises, go see a physical therapist and see what you can do. And when you speak to a physical therapist, they'll tell you that most people don't know how to engage their pelvic floor. Right? It's like a bodybuilder being able to flex a specific muscle.
Right.
That takes a lot of skill.
It does.
Yeah.
I know.
So we have found that there's a tool, there's a device called the V-Tone, made by InMode, based out of Israel.
Right.
And they have electromuscle stimulation to engage the pelvic floor.
And this also works for men, doesn't it?
This does not work for men. This does not.
Something else works
Something
for men.
else
We'll
works
talk
for me.
about
Yeah, we'll
that.
talk
Yeah,
about
yeah.
that. But
Men still have to. Guinea,
yeah,
2 episodes ago, talked about the fact that he does wear a diaper,
yeah.
right? And so guys are left out in the
Well, I
cold.
think, yeah. I mean, and we'll see if there's new technologies that come out for that. I think that this is a really new field that there's a lot of R&D going into it, and we'll see where it goes. But this electromuscle stimulation device, it says that 20 minutes on this device is equivalent to doing a year's worth of effective Kegels.
Wow.
So
Wow.
just the time save in being able to resolve these issues in a matter of weeks, not years, is kind of a game changer for women who are postpartum, right after childbirth, or perimenopausal, menopausal women. We've worked with ladies in their early 80s that have been having urinary incontinence for 40 years.
Wow. That's incredible. It really is incredible.
Yeah.
And when you think about it, I mean, I know men go through it.
Mm-hmm.
So hurry up on that. Call those Israelis and tell them to figure that one out. And women go through it. And it is laughter can do it, jumping, probably dancing too much, too hard. Yeah.
I mean, it could be anything, really,
Yeah.
and looking back, I always prided myself on awareness,
Right.
whether it be myself or those around me. And, I was the leader of a early childhood education organization, mostly female teachers.
Right.
I never knew that these were issues that they had to deal with, right? Like when I was in management consulting, I was in powerful, executive meetings where if the lady there sneezed, imagine the amount of sweats that they might have just having to worry about things like that.
Right.
I had no idea. My mother must have dealt with this.
Of course.
Right?
Yeah.
So I think it's one of those pervasive things that's so not spoken about that, solutions aren't often discussed.
It's interesting because 2 episodes ago, we talked about that. We don't talk about our bodily functions because it seems to be taboo or embarrassing. We don't talk about sex, but we'll talk about killing people, right? We'll talk about murder. We'll talk about beheadings, but wow, don't talk about that. Don't talk about sex. Don't talk about urinating or defecating or anything like that. No, that's what we are. We're human beings. We're like cars. Parts wear out, things like that. How do we fix it? And that's what you guys do.
Yeah. We feel that with erectile dysfunction especially. We actually have a clip that we're trying to collect with just interviewing guys. Simple question: do you or know anybody that has erectile dysfunction? And everybody says no.
Right.
Right? Nobody knows anybody who has it, yet the statistics say otherwise.
Of course.
So, I think there is some stigma that we have to overcome.
Sure.
And I do have a lot of really intimate conversations one-on-one with people. And one thing that I've realized is that, the image of masculinity that we might all have doesn't always present itself in that person. I speak to Division I athletes that just from the look of how they walk and talk and act, you just think they are the definition of masculinity and virility.
Right.
But when you have the intimate conversation with them, they are vulnerable.
Yeah.
And they need help, and they lack confidence in the most, intimate of places. So, yeah, I think the conversation needs to be had, and I'm excited to put it out there.
It's great. And by the way, I had an iguana that I couldn't get to do anything, and it was a reptile dysfunction. So you may not know that. You know that, Alex. You've seen the iguana. But anyway, I think this is fascinating. So your wife
Yep.
recognized this.
Yes.
And the two, were you married at the time?
Yes.
Okay. You've been married for a while.
Yeah. We have 4 kids.
4 kids, so they've at least been married for 5 years. Right? Do the math, okay? So, no, I get it, and it's great. That is wonderful, by the way. This episode is being recorded and done right after we had the major snowstorm in Philadelphia and the East Coast and so forth. And to see my neighbors, their little kids, running around in the snow, building a snow fort,
Oh, yeah.
was like the best. And I'm sure your kids are younger maybe, and there's beauty in that. You
Oh,
can't
yeah.
beat that.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. And like my grandchildren and great-grandchildren.
Yeah. Okay.
So, tell us some stories about women and men. I want to talk about
Sure.
the new aspect of what you're doing with men.
Right.
Okay. But tell us some stories about people who have benefited.
So we talked about the electromuscle stimulation device,
Right.
To fix or to treat urinary incontinence. The other things that we like to deal with are just improving the health of tissue, right, inside the vagina.
Right.
And we are using radio frequency and radio frequency with microneedling to improve the health of tissue, meaning there's a term called neoangiogenesis, which just means creating new blood vessels, right? As you age, these pesky things just kind of slowly go away. So we need to bring some of that blood flow back, and we need to help the tissue rebuild collagen, right? So we're really making it so that you're healing from the inside. Right?
It's a beautiful thing.
And it takes almost 6 to 12 months from the last treatment for your body to actually be at its peak, because your body is slowly generating all of these blood vessels and collagen, and making it so that you don't have to rely on pills or medicine or treatments that require daily kind of keep to make sure that you're healthy.
Plus, we're deteriorating on a constant basis.
We are.
I mean, from the moment we're born, we're dying, right? We're growing.
Sure.
We're growing, but we're heading towards death. And I don't mean that in a macabre way or anything like that. And I won't say anything funny because I don't want the women out there to laugh and then leak. And the men, too. It's not, and the men. But I will. But anyway. So we're deteriorating.
Yeah.
We get to a point where it's growing, and I would say, maybe you could tell me, but I would think at around mid-40s, 50s, we go to the other side of the mountain and we begin to deteriorate.
I would say that number seems to be earlier. I think mid-30s to 40s is when you start to see people kind of starting to lose their edge. It doesn't mean that you have to treat it at that moment.
Right.
We do like preventative treatments.
Okay.
I think it's easier to do it that way than it's just like skincare.
Right. Exactly.
Like when you do it daily, from before you need it, you'll need those treatments later in life.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's very interesting.
So with the radio frequency, some of the things that we know women deal with is dryness or painful experiences during sex. And you talked about it on your episode with the penile implant.
Yeah.
That sex is really important.
It is.
And I view it from like preserving society values. Right, like when a family dynamic is maintained, there's just more love and positive and more values that are being shared.
I agree with you 1,000%.
And not to get too much into biology, but I think that the fact that women have menopause,
Mm-hmm.
to be able to transition from childbearing to post-childbearing is an evolution that's fairly unique to humans,
Yes.
right? And the reason I think for that is the passing on of knowledge, and having that in in a happy marriage makes for a much more beautiful experience. I see it with my grandkids, right?
Okay. Wait a minute.
Sorry, with my kids dealing with their grandparents. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say, wait, okay. You must have started as an embryo.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so, one of the things that we work with women is to be open about those experiences,
Sure.
so that we can use radio frequency and radio frequency with microneedling to treat those symptoms from the source, so that you don't have to rely on lube or any kind of gels, before and you're ready to go.
Right.
And I guess the funny story is that now that we've treated so many women, and now they're ready to be intimate with their partners, the men are saying, I need a little bit of help because my wife's ready, but I'm not.
Right. I get it. That's normal.
Yeah. And I think that there's probably a lot of men out there that complain that their women or their wives aren't ready to be intimate with them.
Mm-hmm.
But the moment they are, they're sweating bullets because they're not ready.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so they're presenting this unhappiness through masculinity, when it really might be a lack of confidence with their own performance.
It's true. I would agree with you. I think that, the male wants to be the provider of everything,
Right.
of joy, of sex, of food, of everything, of money. And there is that psychological thing. And women now, as the society has changed, also want to be providers, providers of love, providers of money and sex like men. And we age. And so, like you said, after menopause, women have paused from men, okay?
Yeah.
And therefore, at least from getting pregnant. But the interesting thing is, they can't get pregnant. So now's the time to not worry about getting pregnant.
Right.
Right? So sex should be more often, but the way the species has evolved, it's less. So it's maybe the libido has changed, or whatever the case is. And what you're doing is flipping the switch.
Right.
And that makes so much sense. And it will bring happiness to people.
I mean, it's chemistry, right? Oxytocin is released
Yeah.
when two humans touch.
It's true.
And being vulnerable with somebody leads to other conversations, right? Because you now are more trusting.
Yeah.
There might be other health issues that you didn't want to disclose, but now that you and your wife are intimate and close and vulnerable with each other, those conversations happen. And I just think that there's a lot there, right? They say 50% of divorces cite sexual dissatisfaction as one of the reasons, right? This isn't the cure-all, right? But it's a major piece of it.
Sure.
Right? You might be able to overlook, some small pet peeves if you're getting some.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, it's money and sex. Money and sex are the major reasons for divorce. Okay? But money and sex are also the major reasons for marriage.
Yeah.
So it's keeping the gears moving.
Right.
And you're starting something for men now, aren't you?
Right. So,
Show everybody your shirt.
oh yeah. So we are Springhouse Men's Wellness. We're actually in the same space in an adjacent office from the Grace and Glow MD.
Right.
And medical services all still provided by Grace and Glow MD, still physician-led. Right. We think that it's really important that the treatments and the services that we provide meet medical kind of grade. Like, we don't want to be part of a fad.
Right.
The devices that InMode comes out with, we wait until they're FDA cleared, right? So that we know that there's some level of scrutiny and testing to make sure that these are legitimate devices. So for the men, one of the things that we talk about, erectile dysfunction, or even just not feeling as confident or not feeling as hard as you used to be. That's kind of what we're trying to treat right now. The running joke is you ask a group of men who here has erectile dysfunction, and it's chirps. Nobody has it, right? But you ask a group of men who here wouldn't mind being a little bit more confident, maybe a little bit bigger. Everybody's going to say, yeah, why not?
Why not?
Yeah. So that's kind of how we're trying to start the conversations. And once you're in the room, you start to learn that it's not the way that they are presenting it. That's like a facade. And then the statistics show that, over 50% of men over the age of 50 have erectile dysfunction.
Yeah, in one form or another.
Yeah. That's a lot of men.
Yeah.
So what we do is, obviously we want to, speak to them and talk to anybody that's having those issues, because it's not just a one size fits all, right? We want to do blood work to see if there's any other underlying issues that might be leading it.
That's a good
right?
point.
We want to check the testosterone levels to see if that might be a source of, some of the lack of confidence. But at the end of the day, if you're not getting blood circulation to your penis, then there's going to be, whether it be lack of performance or lack of confidence.
Yeah.
So what the radio frequency technology does is it creates new blood vessels, right? Just like inside the woman, right? But it's on the penis, and it will restore you to what you felt earlier in life.
And it's interesting because a lot of, for men and women, the ability to have sex or enjoy sex, or for it not to be a struggle or whatever the case, is a psychological.
Yeah.
It becomes more psychological as the as things become more evident.
Right.
Okay. And if that can be overcome,
right,
that would be incredible.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's really exciting. There was a TV show called All's Fair with Kim Kardashian.
Right.
And she coined a phrase, the revenge vagina.
The revenge vagina?
Yeah. So after a breakup or after a divorce, when a woman wants to go back into the market, they talk about all of these technologies to help them feel confident down there. And that's what we're doing for the women and the men.
Yeah, the men, they go out there too.
Yeah.
It's time to, once those papers are signed and you're out there, you got to have that same confidence, right? Yeah, because it's all a game.
Right.
It's all positioning.
Sure.
It's all, it's like a resume. I talk about students, and I will say, no one's going to write their resume and have references to say, this kid is a loser. He was always late to class. Or she was terrible at studying and passing. No, they're going to have the best stuff on there.
Right.
And when you have your resume out there as an adult, as a male or female, looking to do some fun, okay, your resume is here, okay, right?
Sure.
And then when you go behind the curtain, and then the resume becomes there, okay, in other parts. And if that resume can be kept up, you'll be a successful employee.
That's an interesting way to look at it. Yeah. I mean, and if you can go into that situation more confident.
Absolutely.
Like you said, the psychological component's a big piece of that, right? Like, and so we want to make sure that you don't have to rely on a pill to time things. I think the men listening will know if I mention the shady pills in the gas station, right, where the attendants are. Men know this.
Yeah.
We actually asked this in a large group of men and women. The women had no idea what we were talking about. The men were all nodding, be like, yeah, I don't know what's in those pills. But there are ER docs that talk about the horror stories of people, taking things that they shouldn't be taking care of.
Yep.
Nowadays, it's so easy to get these pills online.
Oh, yeah. And you see commercials for them all the time.
Yeah.
You see commercials for everything in the pharmaceutical industry
Right.
all the time.
Right.
Okay. If they put a ban on pharmaceuticals being advertised, I don't know how many broadcast stations
Yeah.
will be able to exist. But it's very interesting to me that we're always looking for the fountain of youth, and rightly so.
Right.
I mean, as people know, I'm 803 years old, but I work out every day, so that's it's very important. I want to stay as young and vibrant as possible,
Right.
for as long as possible.
Right.
And I don't think there's a man or a woman on earth that doesn't feel that way.
Right.
So the market is fertile, no pun intended.
Sure.
Okay. It's getting people to do it.
Mm-hmm.
It's getting people to understand it, and it's getting them to figuring out when they can.
Yeah. I think it's a lot of trust. And, I think
Yeah.
the thing that's great about working with, my wife, Dr. Lee-Agawa, is that whenever she has conversations, she's not really, she doesn't know how to sell, right?
Right.
She is there to help people, period. And if a treatment that you want isn't the one for you, she's going to be the first person to tell you, no, you need to go somewhere else.
Right.
And so we really want to give personalized care and not just force everybody into one box and say, just do this and you'll be all right.
Yeah.
Because that's just not how medicine really is.
It's not, and I think because people are looking for the fountain of youth, they'll do anything.
Yeah.
Okay? And it is the wise and kind person, doctor, or someone in the medical business who says it's not for you.
Right.
Don't even try it. Okay, you're going to be wasting your time and wasting your money.
Right.
Be wise about it, and
Yeah. And I think that's the way that we should be doing business,
yeah.
with the
I agree with
conscious.
you. Yeah. Empathy and consideration to people.
Right.
So as people, women, how long have you been in that location, by the way?
We just opened in that location last year, late August.
Okay. So as people come in, they're diagnosed, right? Is there a referral? Does another doctor go?
No referral. Now, unfortunately, these treatments are not covered by insurance.
Okay.
There's a lot of advocacy work because, we're treating for women things that are almost guaranteed. Menopause is going to happen. Postpartum, childbirth is going to happen for most women.
Yeah.
And we need it for America.
Yeah.
Right?
We need to grow the population.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for that, as I said with Guinea, if it wasn't for sex, none of us would be here.
Exactly. Yeah. So unfortunately it's still not covered by insurance, but we do accept HSA, FSA. And I know it's a pretty good source for people to be able to find these solutions.
And it's so bizarre that it's not covered, because this is really preventative, a lot of it, okay? Why isn't it covered? We know why it's covered. The insurance companies have to make their money. That's basically it.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's tough. I think I just read a headline that says that because Medicare is now holding their prices, they just took a $90 billion hit. So, in terms of,
Wow.
yeah, in terms of like new services being added on, I just don't think that that's happening at the rate that we would like.
Yeah. I think we should have a sit down with the insurance companies. We should get them on here, have a debate. What do you think, Alex?
I think Luigi started a debate, right?
Oh, God, no.
He helped my opinion of pen people.
What's that?
I said he helped my opinion of pen people.
Yeah. It's sad, though. I don't want anybody being hurt.
Yeah.
Anybody being
Yeah.
killed, anybody being assaulted.
Yeah.
But there is frustration.
Absolutely.
There is frustration. If you know people who say to you in confidence, or maybe not in confidence, certainly Guinea and Eileen, they're open book.
Right.
And he will say, I had problems. It's, cancer. And there are plenty of guys who have had prostate cancer
Sure.
and would love to be able to have sex again. Would that work?
I think it would be a case-by-case basis.
Okay.
I think that would be one where our nurse or physician would need to sit and make sure that that's appropriate.
I think that if it works, people will be very, very happy.
Sure.
Okay. So what other services do you have?
So one of our more exciting services we have called body contouring. So yeah.
What can you do for it?
So we have a device that uses, again, radio frequency.
Right.
And we go to stubborn fat deposits.
Oh, stubborn fat deposits.
Yeah, and
Wait a minute. What channel do I have to turn to on my radio to get rid of those stubborn fat deposits? How does that work?
so it uses radio frequency to go inside the skin,
Right.
into the fat deposit, and it actually just uses the radio frequency to melt it away.
Really?
Yeah, and there's a
So-
certain amount that can be melted, and your body can reabsorb it, and you'll urinate it out.
Right.
But anything more than that is when it needs to get vacuumed out. So that's where we say, hey, let's do something that's minimally invasive. So we call it the non-surgical liposuction.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So I can't use my vacuum cleaner in the house.
No, I wouldn't do that.
No.
Yeah.
Okay. So you do non-invasive liposuction.
Oh, minimally invasive.
Minimally.
Yeah.
Minimally invasive. That's very interesting to me.
Yeah.
So some of it is actually the vibrations from the heat. Is that what it is?
It's the heat. Yeah, it's the heat that
Heat that
yeah.
melts it out.
Yeah, and it actually tightens the skin, right? It's the same thing that
Oh, right.
It tightens the skin so that after you've lost the weight, you don't have laxity in the skin.
Yeah. Because if you lose 100 pounds,
Yeah,
you got a lot of
extra skin. Yeah,
extra
Yeah, yeah.
skin going on. They have to cut that away, right? Something
Well,
like that.
I mean, so it depends on each person, but if you have skin laxity, you can typically use radio frequency with microneedling to tighten a lot of the skin back.
Wow, that's very
Now,
cool.
100 pounds, like multiple 100 pounds, that's significant. So
Yeah.
it'd be a case-by-case basis there. And again, after a consult, if it's not right, then we're not going to push a service
Yeah,
that's not
yeah.
going to get you the results that you want.
That's very interesting. So you can do that procedure all over your body.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yeah. So funny story. I have, yeah. So there's a gentleman who's 65 years old, has an 8-pack,
Wow.
right, and looks great. To anybody else, he's in shape and doing well. But he had love handles that bothered him. He's like, I work out all the time, I eat healthy, and I just can't get rid of this.
Yeah.
And, in a matter of about 15, 20 minutes in our office, after, numbing the area, it's gone.
But now he doesn't have things for those love handles.
Well, he's got ripping muscles there. There's
I'm kidding. He said, "What happened to your love handles?"
Yeah.
Well, they're in the Springhouse. I left them there. Right?
No flotation. They'll sink like a stone.
well, they have the muscle to keep up, yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, that's very interesting. So you can do that, right?
Yeah.
Let me think about that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll get you
Just-
in it. We'll do the whole works for you, yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, the next time you see me, I'll look like Arnold Schwarzenegger, except in my face. Okay, when he was younger. But so that, wow. Do you get men and women doing that?
we
right?
We do. And especially with, I think there's been a lot of people who've lost weight with, whether it be tirzepatide,
Right,
Ozempic. And, it might be great for losing a lot of that weight, but there's still going to be stubborn deposits, and there's
Yeah.
going to be skin laxity, right,
Yeah.
because of that weight loss. So we actually have a lot of patients who are on the final steps of their weight loss journey,
Right.
that just want to get their body now into the vision that they have
Right.
in their head. They want to now see it in the mirror.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I would think, and I know this may sound bizarre, but I think once that happens, once people have that surgery, cosmetic surgery, work done, vaginal better lubrication, men that can get harder, and it affects them mentally to the point where not only do they feel younger, in some bizarre way, they are younger.
Yeah.
And therefore, it may help in longevity.
I think psychologically, definitely. Yeah. Now, if we could pair that with healthy eating,
Yes, healthy
which my wife and I are very firm believers of, and we try to work with patients who do those things.
Yeah.
Because healthy people, healthy bodies react better to all treatments. So if somebody's coming in and they have a unhealthy lifestyle and they want to do some body contouring, we'll be the first to say, even if you do this, if you continue living this lifestyle, your fat deposits are going to come right back.
Right.
Is it really worth this effort? Or, we have a weight loss protocol that we help people with. It's a GLP alternative. It's homeopathic supplements that helps to cut out the food noise, increase your metabolism. I actually just got off of it and lost about 20 pounds.
Wow.
I was at 189 pounds, and I'm right around 170 pounds now.
That's pretty cool.
And, it just kind of got me to eat healthier, lean meats, less carbs. And the supplement that I took during that time, didn't make me feel that I wanted anything more during that time. So, yeah, we try to help people get to their goals in the different kind of unique ways that we have available to us. But we'll be the first person to say that, they might need to go look at other things if what we provide, isn't right for them.
Yeah, no Twinkies, right? No.
I'd say everything in moderation.
Yeah, everything in moderation.
Yeah.
It's interesting, and I said this in another podcast. I know that when I first met my wife, and we went out in my neighborhood, she was from South Jersey, and we went to the supermarket, and we looked around on the shelves, and we both came to the same conclusion. There's no food here. There's a lot of boxes of junk.
Yeah.
Until we went to the organic section. But that's, not to be political, but that's the whole basis of Make America Healthy Again.
Yeah.
And stop eating crap that just adds fat and slows you down. And I would think that, and my wife majored in dietetics, so she is like my food police, and she's good at it. You and the office, I would assume, advises people on what to eat and what not to eat.
Yeah, I mean, we're very food conscious, and I think one of the things that I think we lack in our society is knowledge, food literacy. It's one thing to understand what's a fat, what's a protein, what's a carb, but we're dealing with children now that can't even place, a cube of carrot. What does it come from? And they look at a table and they might not know that carrot is really what this carrot is, right?
Wow.
Like, we're getting to that point where people just don't even recognize food.
Yeah.
So I think the Make America Healthy Again is really focusing on making sure that there's responsibility at the corporate level of making sure that the food that we're putting out isn't toxic.
Yeah.
I mean, seems pretty basic, but
Yeah, I saw a great show, and it was called Toxic.
yeah.
And it was by, what's her name? It'll come to me, but it was a show about food and how toxic it is.
Yeah.
The crap we eat.
Yeah.
And what it's going to take to stop eating toxicity.
Yeah. Yeah. It was frustrating, to say the least, to hear, like, when the food dyes were banned, to find out that the same cereal was, being produced for Canada and Europe without those dyes,
Yeah.
right? And in the same factory, they were making the ones with dyes for us in America.
Right.
They had both all the time. It
Yeah.
was just they claimed that Americans preferred brighter colored foods,
Yeah.
so they chose the dyes.
Americans love the sprinkles and things like that.
Yeah.
And a half a gallon of ice cream and
Yeah.
even if it's not really ice cream. Things like, junk, right?
I am a stickler for reading the ingredient list of everything. I try to make all of our meals with the actual food.
What a novel concept,
Yeah.
folks.
I know that rice is high glycemic,
Yeah.
right? And it can be dangerous, but it's also one of my favorite starches because it's one of the only ones that I can find that's not enriched.
It's true.
Yeah,
It's true.
pasta, bread, is enriched flour, and rice is just rice. Brown
That's right.
rice is just
Yeah.
brown rice.
Yeah. When I buy bread, I only buy organic bread. So I look at the ingredients of
Yeah.
that bread.
Yeah.
So we're very big on organic. Nobody's perfect.
Sure.
And certainly when you go out to eat, you know that most of your food is not going to be organic, right?
Yeah.
Unless you're going to an organic restaurant, and how do you know it's really organic,
Yeah.
right? But we have to watch what we eat so that we can stay in shape.
Yeah.
And so that your job is easier, actually,
Sure. Yeah.
and your wife's and everybody that works there.
Exactly.
Because we all want to, doesn't mean we get to, have a sculpted body.
Right.
We all want to look good. We all want to feel good. And sometimes I think for a lot of people, looking good is actually more important than feeling good.
I think looking good can be the start of getting yourself to feel good.
It's a good point.
Right. I think whatever the catalyst is to get people to care about what they're doing with their bodies, what they're putting into their bodies, I as long as we get there, I'm happy.
I agree with you. I agree with you. I think it's very important to make sure that the youth, the very young, and the teenagers and the early 20s, Gen Z and people like that, understand that in depth. They learn it.
Yeah.
It's they're not eating bags of toxic chips or
Right.
whatever that is, and then drinking it down with Coca-Cola or some soda that's
Yeah.
basically, what is it, sugared water, and then wondering why they weigh so much.
Right.
Okay. And they have that, what do they call that, the muffin top, right?
Have you heard about? They say insulin resistance is is diabetes, right? Is a form of diabetes, and they're actually linking a lot of dementia, Alzheimer's, to insulin resistance as well. So there are
Wow.
people who are calling Alzheimer's diabetes type 3, and
Whoa.
yeah. So I think that we're discovering that the food that we're putting into our body has impacts beyond just how we look. It's about how we live. Lifespan may be long, but what's your health span? Like how
It's true.
long can you be healthy?
It's true.
Yeah.
I mean, you could live to be 100, but be a vegetable for the last 20 years.
Yeah. And who wants that?
Nobody.
Yeah.
Nobody. So I want to get back to some of the other services that you guys do. Because it is fascinating. I've looked at your website,
Right.
graceandglowmd.com, right? And what are the other things that women and men,
Sure.
but basically you've had more women
Yeah.
because you're introducing a men's
Right.
division that they want.
So I'd say let's go into lasers.
Okay.
Yeah. So we have we have 3 different laser devices, but the 2 that I want to talk about right now is the CO2 laser and IPL, intense photo light.
Okay.
Yeah, I think IPL. Might
And
need to look
CO2 also?
CO2 laser, yeah.
Wow.
So the IPL is used to treat sunspots, aging spots, kind of the dark spots that aren't necessarily the moles, right,
Right,
on
right.
your face, on your hands. Just over time, exposure to the sun,
Yeah.
you get sun damage, age spots, and I think the ones that bother people the most are when an age spot pops up out of nowhere. And you just all of a sudden you look in the mirror and there's just this,
Thing.
that's
Yeah.
there, and you just never really realized it until it got dark. And so it's a really simple procedure. It kind of feels like little rubber bands kind of being popped onto your skin. And over about a week or so, you have to kind of make sure that you have sunscreen on and protect yourself. But those sunspots will just flake off like coffee flakes.
Wow.
Yeah. So I actually had a lot on myself,
Wow.
and after my wife treated it with one treatment, most of them fell off.
So you're doing dermatological stuff.
We are.
That's pretty cool.
And then the CO2 laser, that is to resurface your skin. So, Dan, if you want to look 20 years younger, right? Well, one, I think we just shave off your beard, and I think you will look 20 years younger. But the skin, we can resurface it. And,
Really?
and so it is a little bit more aggressive. You will be a little bit red and a little bit swollen the next day.
Right.
But after about a week and a half to 2 weeks, you are going to see yourself with a whole new layer of skin that doesn't have the unevenness, some of the skin tones that might be uneven, or the little spots that you might have will just kind of all be gone. Yeah.
I have to shave off my beard, though.
Well, we could treat everything outside of the beard too.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
That is very cool.
Yeah.
And so I just had a picture of me when I was a student at Temple years ago. And
Yeah.
people, literally, I did a Zoom meeting this morning and with some colleagues. And, on Zoom, you don't automatically get on until you hit the,
Right.
the visual. And they said, "Who's that person on your thing?" I said, "Well, that's me 50 years ago," whatever it was, 60 years ago, at Temple. So, can you make me look
Let's see what we can do. Yeah.
okay?
Challenge accepted.
Great. Okay.
Yeah. The third laser I'd talk about, and I think a lot of women have dealt with this, laser hair removal.
Oh yes, that's
Yeah.
right.
And I'm actually trying to get more men to look into this for two areas: back hair,
Right.
and the I don't have a lot of facial hair, so I don't know, but I've been told that people who grow big mustaches and big beards have areas where they have hair growth, and when they shave it, they get red bumps.
Oh yes, that's true. That doesn't happen to me,
Sure.
but I shave under here.
Yeah.
Under here. I
And some
shave.
people just complain that
And
they
here.
get the bumps and
Yeah.
it just.
I
So
get it.
what I suggest is do laser hair removal for the areas that you don't need facial hair.
Wow. And
And-
it doesn't grow back?
No.
No kidding.
Yeah.
So you don't have to shave again.
So women do this for armpit hair, bikini lines.
Wow.
Yeah, and the device that we have, a lot of people complain that it hurts or it's not effective. But when they use our device, they say, "Oh, this is a completely different experience than I've had in the past."
Wow, that's amazing.
And imagine what a bikini wax must feel like.
Oh. Well,
Yeah. Yeah.
No. But I know women who have had bikini waxes.
Yeah.
And just listening to the screams. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
But no, I get it.
Yeah.
It's got to be painful.
Yeah, and I kind of pitch it as like a time saver. Right? The amount of time that people have to spend doing these things.
Yeah.
Busy people.
Busy people's right. And then they don't have to shave here. The back, to me, it's a normal thing
Yeah.
to have back hair. But for some guys, they want the back hair off.
I think it might be driven by their partners.
It might be.
Yeah.
It might
I think
be.
you don't see it, so it
No, you
doesn't
don't.
bother you. But
No, it
yeah,
doesn't bother me, and it doesn't bother my wife. What's the person? Oh God, the guy, Bigfoot. He needs it.
Yeah.
Okay. Outside of that, I don't know.
Yeah.
Bigfoot needs it. Okay, so you have that. And what other things do you have for the women out there?
So we have medical grade skincare. So we came out with our own skincare line.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah. So one of the things that we recognize, again, we said that my wife started off with skincare as kind of like the entry into the aesthetic space, and what we discovered is a lot of expensive products out there aren't medical grade. They're just branded and marketed very well.
And they don't have to go through FDA, do they?
No. No.
Wow.
So we have third-party labs testing for purity, for
Wow.
making sure that the products that we're saying work are using medical grade products that are effective and are dosed properly, and there's consistency. And so we've curated kind of our own line with different products.
That's very cool.
Yeah, you should come by and we can.
I will come by.
What does your skincare routine look like?
Well, let's see. That Dial soap
Yeah,
goes all over my face and my body.
yeah.
And then I put that water on it, so it all goes away.
Yeah.
And then I dry off.
Yeah, but you use sunscreen, I heard.
I do use sunscreen, and I have to use sunscreen because of my cancer,
Right.
because of skin cancer, and or the other thing is I stay out of the sun
Sure.
and wear long sleeve shirts and stuff like that. So that's why, interestingly enough, that you bring that up. When I go on vacation, whenever that is, okay, I'm the guy with the long sleeve shirt, or I try to stay out of the sun or get
Sure.
under an umbrella, because I've had skin cancer countless times, and I know that there's a lot of people out there who have had it,
Right.
and you got to be careful.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, using a cleanser, I might not recommend Dial soap for the face.
Really.
I might recommend something that's a little bit more gentle.
Oh.
But if it works for you,
Right.
don't let me stop you. But I think the fact that you're using sunscreen is
Yeah.
those are the two things that we always say you must have: a cleanser and
And
sunscreen. I would add a few things in there just to kind of optimize your
I'll
experience.
stop by.
Yeah.
We'll figure this one
Yeah.
out. By the way, I want people to know, because we assume that everybody knows what the FDA is. But there may be people watching that, I know we have people from England and Turkey and other 18 or 20 other countries that watch and listen to our podcast.
Sure.
Is the Food and Drug Administration. It's a federal government agency that approves foods and drugs. But sometimes I wonder how those foods.
I mean,
got
and
in there.
they even test and clear the medical devices that we're using.
That's true.
Yeah.
They do. They test medical devices.
Yeah.
So someone who is looking for, you said it before, the body shaping, the sculpting. How long does it take for someone, an average person, okay, to get to that place where they feel that their body is sculpted?
So I think
I know it depends.
Yeah, it does depend, but I think the image that you might be thinking about sculpted is not necessarily the six-pack image that I kind of shared earlier.
Right.
I think I don't have a six-pack, right? I don't think a lot of people do.
I don't even drink beer. So.
But it's as simple as, for a lot of women that we deal with, we work with, the arms. Just
yeah.
the flabs under the triceps, right? Or they call it the bra strap kind of hump
Yeah.
that comes out when they put their bra strap on. It's those small things that we might not even see
Sure.
when we see our partners or
Right.
women that are in their swimsuits, but to them, that's what they see.
Well, do you do breast lifting?
No.
No, that's surgery from a different.
Yeah.
Right,
I mean,
right.
yeah, there are plastic surgery surgeons
that
that do
does
that.
that.
Yeah.
It's so interesting. to
Yeah.
me.
So all of our devices are minimally invasive, meaning that there's not really any significant downtime. Right. When you do a lot of surgeries, there are weeks or
Right.
months where you have to be very careful. We've kind of curated a series of treatments that don't require those kind of significant things. It can be all
great.
done in office.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's great. What are the age groups that come in?
Yeah.
I'd like to know, when do people start coming?
Yeah, I'd
You
say early 30s. We're seeing a lot of people coming in.
Early 30s.
Because I think with childbirth, I think women go through a lot of biological changes.
Yeah.
and I think that the youthful body that they may have had before just looks and feels different. And I think that a lot of women are just looking for answers. And, I think what's great about having a consult with my wife is that she's looking at it from an OBGYN's perspective. Right? From a physician's perspective. So she's experienced it herself as a mother.
Right.
And then we're adding all of the different technologies that are available to us to basically help them get to what they feel is their normal. And so, on the early age, we're seeing women in their 30s come in, and then we are seeing all the generations, decades until about 80s. Yeah.
Wow, because I know this may sound weird, but 80 today isn't what 80 was 80 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay? Because I'm closing in on 80, right? And really closing in on 80. And what does that mean anymore?
Yeah. I don't think that we talked about strength training and resistance training at at your age, right? When we saw a guy who was 80 that was lifting weights, that was like, oh my goodness, that's crazy. Let's put him on the news. But now you're seeing, that's I think muscle is so important, right? That's our currency.
It is.
Life currency. Yeah.
It's interesting because with the snowstorm, now I had my driveway cleared, my walkway, but then I realized my sidewalk wasn't. I said, I'll do it myself. But they used to say, oh no, you're too old.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't do it. And but if you stay in shape, you have to be careful, of course, because one of the things that I've heard, I don't know if it's a fact, that it's one of the major reasons why people have heart attacks is snow shoveling, but if you're in shape, you're in shape.
Yeah.
That's it. And it doesn't matter how old you are. I mean, I've seen people that are 50 that look like they're 80, and people who are 80 that look like they're 50.
Yeah. I think sedentary lifestyle, we talked about food, all of that makes a big difference. And I actually started stretching a lot, right? I'm going to start going to yoga again. Because, I think being strong is one thing, but being able to move your body is a whole different thing. So I recommend anybody who's doing strength training to do their stretches. Yeah.
Well, my wife was a yoga teacher for years, and she still goes. And she will tell me certain things that I'm doing or should do and stuff like that. And it's important, as is your food, as is making sure that you feel good and consequently look good. Because it's an old saying, when you look good, you feel good.
Yeah.
And these are the types of things you do. Do you ever have a mother bring in a daughter or a son? Yeah?
Absolutely. So our youngest folks that come in are actually teenagers. So another service that we provide is called a hydrofacial. And a hydrofacial is a very soothing experience, but it helps to clean your skin. So there are a lot of kids in their early teens. I have a 12-year-old at home who gets acne.
Oh, okay.
And sometimes the acne can be large, cystic kind of large, painful acne. And so we have parents bring their kids in so that they can get their faces cleaned and exfoliated. And at the end of a hydrofacial, there's actually a jar that's collected called the gunk jar. And you can see all of the things that have been kind of sucked out. And it's gross, but very satisfying to see.
It is. It is. It's like my kidney stones.
Yeah.
The doctor who removed my kidney stones gave me a jar with the kidney stones, and he said, "Here they are," and I still have it. So it's like, I don't want them anymore. I'm going to watch what I eat and stuff. But yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
That is great. Terrific.
Yeah. So our lead esthetician is actually certified to treat acne. And again, it comes down to a confidence thing. Like it's really important because, I had acne growing up, And I had
You
no,
did?
yeah, I
Your
had
skin
no.
is like perfect.
Well, my wife works with miracles.
You're married to the right woman. Put it that way.
But I remember it having a significant impact, and there was nobody that could teach me about what I should be doing.
Right.
I think we all had these oxy pads, and we just rubbed
Yeah.
rubbed our skin raw.
Yeah.
Now there's a lot more kind of refined techniques and treatments to be able to help with that.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Really, it's great. So, from a summary perspective, how would you summarize what Grace and Glow MD does?
So, I mean, I think the quick phrase would be we help people age gracefully and rediscover their glow. But
I like that.
Yeah. But I think the biggest one that I want people to take away from this is really the vaginal health, vaginal rejuvenation, not having to live with urinary incontinence. I think it's just such a simple treatment. And everybody's had, not everybody, but a lot of people have had TENS devices.
TENS units, yeah.
And so that's the same technology. This is just a lot stronger, but the technology has been around for decades.
Yeah.
It just hasn't been applied in this way. So I think that's one of the biggest ones that I want people to take away. And then the second would be sexual intimacy health, both for men dealing with erectile dysfunction or a loss of performance,
Right.
and women that have painful or dryness, that can prevent from having sex in a pleasurable way.
Yeah. And that's so important. I said it earlier. It's so important for all of us.
Yeah.
For everybody. Postmenopausal, premenopausal, right? All that. And men.
Yeah.
So we got to keep going.
Agreed.
Don't stop. Lee-Agawa, I want to thank you for being here, for all your wisdom and your knowledge. And how do people get a hold of you?
Our website is graceandglowmd.com for the women's wellness. And then for the men, it's springhousemen.com.
Springhouse Men. It's a beautiful thing. I'll be coming by.
Sounds great.
You're not far from us.
No.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Take care. Folks, don't forget, graceandglowmd.com and springhousemen.com. Correct? This has been episode 36 of Digging for Gold with Lee-Agawa. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow us on YouTube, on Instagram, on TikTok. What am I missing? Let's see. YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and what was the one? Facebook, and I know I'm missing one. YouTube, Instagram. Go to the bottom of the page, dangoldberg.com, click on everything, okay? And then follow us, please. And also like us, okay? But here's one thing that I want you always to remember. Use your mind. If you don't, others will. We'll see you next time on Digging for Gold.